I think I'm pretty up to speed on the rivalry. I think I was, when I showed up, and not just because of the on-field stuff, but rivalries occur for a lot of different reasons, and proximity is usually one of them. And I've literally never had a rival that close that I would imagine they're probably staying in their own team hotel and driving up the day of the game. That's a luxury I haven't had. I'm looking forward to it next year for sure. But no, we see these guys in recruiting. We see them in everything that we do, and they're right down the road. A lot of our players played against their players in high school. Probably a lot of our players were recruited by them as well, and vice versa. So it has all of the makings of a great rivalry. So it doesn't surprise me that it's as intense as it is.
The students showed up last weekend for a hot game. And what can they do this week to help maybe keep that trophy here?
Well, we got to do a good job of keeping them in the stands. 14-7 at halftime. I think we were in the game. So that's one, and then two, I think one, I want to thank them obviously for doing that. That was an uncomfortable day to sit and watch. Certainly in the second half, what they watched, that was a bit of a struggle. So thank you to our students for going out there and weathering that. But I think probably the biggest thing is just spread the word. Let your friends know. Bring somebody with you. We get a lot of energy from our students, a lot, and that walk into the stadium, through the student tailgate, as well as being out for pregame warm-ups and seeing the student section fill up. It is really, really motivating, and then certainly the noise and pressure that they can provide on our opponent hopefully will be at an all-time high.
Finally for me is, you were pretty down on Saturday night, rightfully so. After watching the film, was there some positives that you could take away and build upon for the team?
A ton of positives, and I think that's probably what had me so down. Maybe a little bit perplexed, mad at myself for not seeing this coming somehow, some way. And as you look back, that is the frustrating thing. Is there's so much good that happened, and even offensively, believe it or not, we have shown at our best that we're pretty good, and it's my job, our job as coaches, leaders on the team's job, to make sure that we translate the good week of practice into performance on game day. And this is the new college football. We've had 50% of our roster is brand new. We've got 9 out of 11 starters on offense that are brand new, and we draw a Big Ten team on the road in front of 70,000 people, and an Army team that's been together for years and years and years, playing a bunch of juniors and seniors in the same system. So that's not an excuse. It's my job. That's why I was mad at myself. It's my job to have us more prepared for the Army game, for game 2. But having played that level of opponent in back-to-back weeks to start the season can do nothing but help us. We're going to be better because of it, because we did do a lot of things. They're good. There were a lot of bright spots in those 2 games. They just weren't consistent enough. And I think moving forward, we've realized, we got smacked in the face with it, unfortunately, but hopefully that side of the ball realizes the level of consistency that's necessary, play after play after play.
Questions?
Despite the struggle with the Army's run game, I feel C.J. Hurd's performance stuck out as a positive. What kind of led to his uptick in playing time? Is that something we can see going forward?
I would think so, yeah. He's really good. I've been bragging on him since training camp. He came in like a grown man. He's 18 going on 32, and he carries himself like a grown man. he does, you would think he's a fifth-year senior by the way he handles his business in terms of getting his body right on his own, getting the film work on his own, getting the individual work on his own. I mean, the guy is just, he eats, sleeps, and breathes this game, and he's really talented. And so you put those two things together, and you got a true freshman out there that's doing all the right things. And so it's been 2 games. I don't want to give him too much praise just yet, but I'm glad he's here for sure.
6 wideouts played over 15 snaps in a game against Army. What goes into using the wideouts the way that they've been, and are there any plans to adjust that usage going forward, or is it going to be more of the same?
Heat. I mean, fatigue is really, at this stage in the season, those guys run as hard as they can, oftentimes, 30, 40, 50 yards with a dead sprint, and then we're no huddle. And then they got to jog back in on the line and go do it again. And so that becomes tiring. LaJonte Lester didn't even play every snap, and so I hope we have 6 guys that we trust and can rotate through there because that'll mean we'll be better because of it in the fourth quarter. Those guys run a lot. I mean, we're talking 7,000 yards, a game. That's a lot.
Sticking with the wide receiver room, EJ suffered the turf toe at the end of fall camp. Is he progressing at all towards coming back, or is that a week-to-week thing?
We're going to find out something definitive here. Full disclosure, he's had surgery on it. We're going to see if that's going to keep him out for the rest of the season, or if there is a chance to come back, but it won't be anytime soon.
How much did him and BJ both getting hurt right before the season start really impact the offense's ability to stretch the field here early?
But enough for it to matter, I think is the right way to say that. And, I don't know that there's any game rep sleuths here, but we also didn't play with 2 of our 4 scholarship tight ends for the first 2 games. Khalil Brantley coming back from being diagnosed with lupus, and Elijah Brown is now finally coming off of concussion. So that'll be nice coming back this week to have those 2 guys, but to not have those 2 wideouts, we felt it. But again, we're adjusting. I mean, this is not an excuse. It is reality, though. That like East Lansing, Michigan was the first time I've seen Cam Fancher get tackled. It's like I wish I would have been able to teach him not to slide before that game. And so there's so many things that we're learning, and then the pieces change with BJ and EJ going down. Now it's okay. Now we got to learn some different parts too. So. We're not excusing the lack of pace that we're getting to know this crew, because it certainly needs to speed up, but it is a reality too.
FIU is more of a balanced offense than Army. Army is a very unique system, but FIU is more of like your traditional college offense. What's going into the preparation on defense to prepare to face FIU this weekend?
Well, we get to play normal fronts and coverages and not be bound by the uniqueness of the rules that the triple option presents. But so a little bit more like Michigan State, but probably more like our offense in terms of the tempo is going to be something that we have to be prepared for. The RPOs and the perimeter screens are something that we're going to have to be prepared for. And then the quarterback's legs, is something we're going to have to be prepared for. And, these weeks coming off a triple option, you better flip that switch pretty quickly in the week and get back to normalcy.
With the run game struggles, what do you think has been kind of the cause of that, and what's been the plan to jolt it?
Oh, boy. Which play? Like, seriously, it has been, one, I think, as coaches, we can help with maybe some more, we've talked about some more gap schemes, some more pullers, so that maybe on days when the backs aren't seeing it real well, that we could just pick somebody up and tell them to go run behind that guy, And so there were times where we had them up beautifully and the running back misread it and kind of ran himself into a tackle, or everything looked great and an O-lineman, missed or lost a block, or they had an extra hat and the QB didn't see it to throw the RPO. So to give you one answer is not doing it justice, and so it just goes back to, it's kind of who we are a little bit certainly on offense. We're just inconsistent, and it's cliched, it's coach speak, it's said over and over, but that is such a interdependent side of the ball. Like there are probably literally, I can't count the number of plays where 10 guys might grade out as a plus, and one guy misses assignment, misses block, do a poor job, whatever it is, and the play is a negative play, 0 yards, whatever it is, and it's like, okay, so now you fix that guy, and then it's like you run out of fingers to plug the dam, and so everybody up front has it in them, and we've seen it at its best, and so it's just a level of consistency right now, doing it over and over and over again.
When it comes to the passing game, right, is there an adjustment you guys can make? Is there something that you want to tweak, or is it more of, kind of like you said, it's so interwoven with the run game that the improvements in the run game will help?
No, I don't think it's interwoven with the run game, but it is interwoven with 4 new starters on your offensive line. We've got to be smart with what we ask them to do. We're not going to line up an empty on first down and start throwing the ball all around in 5-man protections and say, hey, go block that defensive end, Daughtry, for 70 snaps all by yourself. That's not good coaching. So, but it does make the play action game that much more necessary, and by extension the run game then needing to improve, because we've got to be able to take those shots on first and second down, where maybe we can keep a tight end or a second back in protection and suck everybody up and really just kind of throw it over their head, so to speak. And because we can't just stand back there and drop back and launch a go ball. We're not going to have enough time a lot of the time. So we're getting better up front. You asked about the pass game. We're making strides there. Guys are improving every week, which is really, really cool to see. And then schematically, we've got to do a better job running the football so that those 6- and 7-man protections that you get in play action pass can be more advantageous for us.
What have you kind of seen from Cam navigating these struggles as a leader and keeping everyone's head up in the locker room?
Oh, he's got a hard job, because he'd be the first to tell you he hasn't played to his level of expectation either. So, there's a saying about glass houses, right? And people in them shouldn't throw stones. And so I think, Cam is focused, and rightfully so, on himself and the things that he needs to do to improve. But at the same time, there's no doubt or any kind of disbelief or anything like that on anybody's part. So, he's doing a really good job of taking every step he can to make sure that his play improves on Saturdays. And I think that's the best he can do right now in terms of leading, is to continue to put that work in to continue to improve his game.
The first drive at Michigan State I went in, it was fast. I expected that though. Coach Rock preached that to me over and over again in practice to go faster than what practice is because it's gonna be fast to me. I'll say I settled in the second series. Ever since then, just every rep I'm out there, every step I take is just slowing down. It's getting back to how I was in high school, so I'm loving it.
And last weekend was a different offense than you're probably used to seeing, or maybe not. Can you talk a little bit about that game and being in the right place at the right time?
Army a really good football team. I don't think many people know that, but I played a team like that in high school, Mary's High School. You gotta be very disciplined. It's trickery, man. I mean, that offense is really, really good. Can't take it for granted. They gonna do what they do over and over again to you mess up one time and you can't mess up one time. So that offense is pretty good.
Finally, for me, is you're freshman and not local. So have you heard much about the Shul Bowl, and what are your expectations with the rivalry?
Yes, I heard a lot about it. I heard the trophy been here 7 years. I want to keep it here. I don't want this to be the year to go back. So we're gonna do everything in our power and practice, prepare for them. Just keep grinding, because right now it's us versus us. So we're just gonna keep doing what we can do to get better on the defense side of the ball.
Last week you saw a serious uptick in playing time. How was that for you personally? And was that something you were expecting to see going into the week?
Actually, all week I was just grinding. Coach called my number. I just made sure I prepare all week. Every week, do the same thing over and over again. So I just made sure I was prepared when my number was called, and that's it.
Was it a bit surprising at all after you guys did relatively well against Michigan State in the run to get gashed like that, or was it just like a scheme thing with Army?
It wasn't a surprise. But the country's going to see how good FAU defense is this year when we play a normal offense like that, because we're really good back there. I want everyone to see it. Army option, pretty different, but in regular offense, I feel like FAU is really good.
According to PFF, you have the best run defense on the entire team. What goes into your mentality playing the run as a primary secondary player?
I think that's what separates me is my run support. When I was little, I played linebacker, so it's just always carried to me over and over. From little league to high school, I just always been able to tackle. The D-line and linebackers just doing their assignment fast makes it easier for me to attack my gap and do what I got to do.
FIU seemed to have a bit of an explosive game last week against CMU. What have you noticed from their offense in the film that you've watched so far?
We got to play smart, fast, and be disciplined. They do a lot of motion, Coach Rockman prepares for that, practice when we go fast, tempo. So we just got to be smart, play discipline, communicate. Communicate going to be key this week. It's one thing we started doing well towards the end of fall camp, and let's carry over to the season. So keep getting better at communicating.
It was mentioned prior, you saw an uptick in snaps, you're playing a lot as a freshman. What goes into your mentality when you're on the field, and then beyond that, what are you looking to build on in the coming weeks?
When I'm on the field, I just me versus me, man. Just doing my assignment the best I can do it to help the team. Win that down. Every play's a do down. That's what Coach Rock put in my head. Every play is a do trial. So each play reset. Coach Herman always talked about that 4 seconds. So each play, 4-second reclock. I'm just trying to get my all for that 4 seconds.
Bouncing off what he kind of asked, that FIU is a pretty dynamic quarterback who can run the ball a little bit. How do you prepare to stop that a little bit?
With Coach Rock, he's going to put in certain calls, to keep one player that's going to watch the quarterback. We respect him. He's a good player. So we're going to call it to make sure he's contained.
I'm very excited. We played them, before in 2022. We just go out there and just play our game. Obviously, I know the history behind it, and it's a very great game. We all know it's a rivalry game.
Can you talk a little bit about the run room and what you guys are working on improvement-wise this week?
I'm just setting the tempo, just starting off on the ground, just putting pressure on the defense, allowing the pass game to get dominant. So that's what we plan to do going into this game.
Questions?
It's been a little bit of a struggle to run it these first 2 games for you guys. What do you think has led to that, and do you still think there's time to kind of get that explosive run game going?
Just take time, honestly. we know we're gonna get it going sooner or later. It's just a matter of just keep going. When things not going right, just motivate our O-line and just keep running. So.
And for the offense as a whole, what have you guys kind of been talking about to try to maybe come out earlier and be explosive early?
Like I said, just start off. To me, Dominic, just start off in the trenches. So if we get that going, then our offense gonna get flowing.
Even with the struggles, you've shown a very tough running style in the first few weeks. What is your mentality every time you touch the football?
Be physical. You know the plays that's gonna open up is gonna open up, but just setting the tone and being physical when nothing is open that's just the mindset you gotta have to play this position. So.
And then building beyond that, you've also been very productive as a pass catcher and a pass blocker. How do you prepare to be an all-around back in this offensive scheme?
Just in practice. That's what we practice. You know, I go out there with the mindset of not just running the ball, but just finding out ways I can help this team outside of running the ball, catching out the backfield, making my reads, making my block, just keying on to the things I'm supposed to key on to, and being physical.